Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here to comment on the upcoming fights with Paul Williams and Sergio Martinez, as well as Chris Arreola, Brian Minto, and also to lead with some comments on the Ali Faneca Johan Guzman fight. Um, I thought that fight, which took place earlier tonight, was an absolute disgrace. Guzman should feel embarrassed, quite frankly, that he had the audacity at the end of the fight to even pretend that the judges made the right decision in that fight. I thought anyone with two eyes could see that Faneca clearly won the fight. I no longer consider Guzman to be an undefeated fighter. I think it's clear that a taller fighter with a lead jab who can throw it with volume over 12 rounds, who's accurate with the punch, and who has the backup artillery. If Guzman's able to slip that jab occasionally, can put Guzman in a lot of trouble. I believe it's very important for fight fans to believe their eyes and not the judges' scorecards. That was an absolute farce. Faneca won that fight going away. Quite frankly, Guzman needed a knockout as early as the 11th round in that fight. He didn't get it in the 11th. Quite frankly, I thought Guzman lost the 12th round. I thought that fight was pretty much over, and I was shocked to hear that two of the judges ruled that fight a draw. Unfortunately, in the sweet science, sometimes you have matches where the scoring just isn't up to par. Now, that was exactly the case. In fact, the judging, the refereeing was even worse in the Sergio Martinez Kermit Cintron fight. Now, first, let me say Kermit Cintron is an excellent fighter. He may have been ripped off in past fights because he's only lost to one man, Antonio Margarito. And I personally believe, my own opinion, is that Margarito, who used to be one of my very favorite fighters, now has to be viewed with suspicion. Everything he's accomplished in the ring has to be doubted now that we know that he somehow ended up with plaster of Paris on his hand wraps for his fight against Shane Mosley. Fortunately, Mosley's corner, Nassim Richardson, caught it, and of course Margarito then looked very average in that fight. Now Kermit Cintron was an undefeated fighter. He was cruising through. He was a fighter with a very bright future. He somehow ran into Antonio Margarito twice, lost both fights, and all I can say is when you look at the films of both fights, they are kind of reminiscent of Margarito's fight against Cotto, where you wonder how the guy could be that battered. I think that those raise eyebrows. But one thing's clear. As much as I like Kermit Cintron, Kermit Cintron lost to Sergio Martinez, who ironically has also only lost to one man in his entire career, and that was Antonio Margarito. Now, unfortunately for Sergio Martinez, who quite frankly, in my opinion, in terms of boxing skills, not fighting, but boxing, is one of the top 5 boxers in the sport. Unfortunately for Martinez, when he scored a clear knockdown on Kermit Cintron, clear knockdown, the referee missed it. And Cintron was so outclassed in the fight, Cintron himself thought he had been headbutt because he couldn't believe that a fighter could counterpunch him so cleanly, absent a headbutt. The replays clearly show that that was a knockdown. More importantly, even if you didn't score that a knockdown, and trust me, it's a clean knockdown. I would encourage anyone to look at that tape. If you didn't score it a knockdown, Martinez still should have won that fight by, and I'm being conservative here, at least 3 rounds. Tommy Kazmarek, one of the judges, had Martinez winning by 4 or 5 rounds. Of course, the other two judges, this is boxing, had the fight a draw. As you look at Martinez's record, just understand that while officially his fight against Kermit Cintron is a draw, Martinez won that fight going away. He's an underrated fighter. My advice to gamblers, and I love Paul Williams, right? And Paul Williams handles counterpunchers well. I understand that Martinez fights at 154. This fight's at 160. Be very careful. For gamblers, my advice is not to touch this fight, because even though Paul Williams is a greater than 2-to-1 favorite in many sports books, all I'm telling you is Sergio Martinez, who is unknown, right? Not too many people know him. Sergio Martinez is one of the most dangerous men in the sport. The guy is a boxer's boxer. And when he wants to sit on punches, he has pop. Paul Williams got undressed already in his first fight against Carlos Quintana, another skillful boxer. My point to you is that Sergio Martinez is also a skillful boxer. So the Paul Williams fight, all I can say is that fight's a coin flip. Don't take chances. If you need to make a bet on the card, I encourage you to look at the other fight on the card. It's Chris Arreola against Brian Minto. All I can say to you is this. Arreola is 6'4", Brian Minto is 5'11". Arreola has fought Vitaly Klitschko, Jamil McCline, Chaz Witherspoon. I don't believe Brian Minto has fought anybody in that class. I do not consider Brian Minto to be a Vitaly Klitschko. I'll even go further. I think you're going to get generous odds taking Chris Arreola. I believe Arreola wins that fight easily. I'll even go further. Given Arreola's hand speed, and you didn't get a chance to see too much of it against Vitaly, right? Given Arreola's hand speed and the fact that Arreola got stopped in his last fight, I believe you'll get great odds on Arreola by knockout. Arreola only has one gear. He comes forward. He comes to fight. He's the bigger man. He's accurate. He is quick with his punches. I'm expecting a barn burner. I'm expecting both fighters to have their moments. I'm expecting Chris Arreola to win that fight by knockout. So my advice to gamblers is to simply sit back, watch the Paul Williams fight, enjoy excellent boxing. Williams is a volume puncher. He's able to overwhelm counterpunchers like Winky Wright by simply throwing a volume of punches from distance. Understand, though, the height differential between these two fighters is not that great. Martinez is 5'11", Williams is 6'1", and all I can say is with great fighters, they find a way to slip jabs, they find a way to wreak havoc. Martinez, who is gaining weight to fight Williams, and keep in mind, Williams is supposed to be the most feared man in boxing. Obviously, Sergio Martinez is unafraid. I say watch that fight, don't bet on that fight. On the other part of the card, take Chris Arreola by knockout. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Leave your messages here for us on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com and also predictboxing.blogspot.com. Let us know what you think. And if I'm wrong, punish me in the ratings here on YouTube. But if I'm right, give me 5 stars. Protect yourself at all times and good luck. Thanks for watching.